Hello, and welcome to Rocket Fuel, your daily update of everything that's happening in the Rocket Pool and Ethereum communities. My name is Wack. Today is August 2nd, and today we have a jam-packed episode that's full of governance information, talking about ETH-only validators. We're going to be talking about yield for RPL under Saturn. We're going to be talking about RPL benefactor. We're going to be talking about Lido CSM. We're going to be talking about Vitalik bullposting on the Ethereum side. We're going to be talking about the ETFs, Pectra, like 2077 Collective, and so much more. So today we really do have a jam-packed episode. Let's get started.
10, 9, ignition sequence start, 6.
So we're going to start here with some news of proposals that have finished, and these are Rocket Pool governance proposals, and we're going to start the main one, of course, RPIP 49, which is the tokenomics rework. That has finished with 99.41% favorability in this rework, and the quorum was 163% quorum was reached. So we had 23,000 votes, which is way more than the 14,000 required to get it to pass. So this is amazing because our ETH now is officially on the roadmap for Rocket Pool. Sorry, ETH only validators are now officially on the roadmap for Rocket Pool, and we are going to be getting those within like 6 to 9 months, but probably closer to the end of Q1 of 2025, potentially beginning of Q2. But Saturn 1 will be coming before we know it. The hype begins now, and this is really cool to see. Along with that, we've got a few RPIPs that have come in that are like quality of life RPIPs. So this one, the Node Distributor User Fund Unbundling. This one is RPIP 7 that passed with 97% of the vote. We also have MEV penalty guardrail. This is our ODAO limitations that 97% of the vote. We also have this one again, RPIP 61, balance guardrail, and this also passed with 94% of the vote. So all of these proposals were strongly supported by the community, and the main thing now is that RPIP 49 is the official roadmap for Rocket Pool, and this is going to bring in a really exciting period for the next 12 to 15 months when we'll be working on Saturn 1 then Saturn 2, but Rocket Pool, I think, is really giving itself the best chance of success here going forward, and super. So yeah, that's really cool. Moving on to the Discord now, we have a couple of updates from Langas. So Langas, the first one here says, please find the latest protocol development update on the DAO forum, and then there's link forum. This is let us know if you have concerns. Then another protocol update here from yesterday. He says another protocol development announcement as per RPIP 37. The protocol development core team will facilitate prioritization discussion with the community. Look forward to hearing the perspective. So those are two posts that Langus put out over the last couple of days. Let's go with those. So the first one here is the protocol development, what the team did in May, July. So here, Langus says the quarterly roadmap update, and the main thing that they worked in Houston. So there were audit reports, and then there were bugs that were found, and then the smart contracts were deployed and verified in the community. Post Houston launched the core team to combine snapshot and chain voting system. So that's been going on, and the Langas finishes the post by saying, summarize the current status of governance voting. Snapshot will still be used for most governance votes because it's gas-free. The on-chain system will be used when protocol setting or protocol trends are necessary. And Langas goes on to say that the snapshots integrated voting system, unified vote governance system, essentially vote is consistent, and the on-chain system is disabled for now until the use goes live. I'm actually working on that right now, so hopefully the hosts will go live within the next 6 weeks. Then there's a Medium article as well. The news of the hotfix. So just after the launch of Houston, the issue was raised older mini pools. Bug introduced Houston corrupted state when exiting mini pools. Node operator had not initially voting. We announced a smart node release to prevent node operators experiencing the issue. Ultimately, a smart side. In the meantime, we have some interesting Unify bug bounties raised on the on-chain voting system. The first was a medium severity protocol griefing vector that did not affect funds, but would allow someone to withdraw their RPL collateral when they are not supposed to. Another excellent submission allowed a changer to steal a proposer's bond. The impact was limited, but clearly a good find. We've developed fixed those bug bounty submissions. Then Langus goes on to say, additionally, there's some small non-functional changes that we want to include, and this changed the way a vetoed proposal's bond is burned. Instead of sending to a burn address, it uses RPL's burn feature. And another one is fix possible error situation if RPL bond amount is 0. That also the validators, and then event naming as well. Then Angus says, lastly, we've been paying attention to discussions around the interim release before Saturn that would launch ETH mini pool earlier. One issue with the release scrub check RPL penalty. Penalty is important for security reasons, but cannot be enforced if there's no RPL bond. So included the hotfix change to make this an ETH penalty rather than RPL penalty. We are in discussion about how this is processed governance. And then with RPIP 28 and 30, they reduced the RPL withdrawal limit 60% nodes bonded ETH. And with RPIP 28, the implementation first, depending on the result of RPIP 49 for its current scope. No, and then RPIP 30, depending on the result of 9, which is certain. RPIP 30 is included in the rework scope included in Saturn. With Saturn here, over the last few months, the core team have engaged in discussions of the rework tokenomic proposal as the scope has formalized, and the team have feedback, feasibility advice, and conducted multiple full-day internal workshops to break components. The core team was engaged in discussion with 1KX and Evans, and then the core team of development the least contested elements of Saturn, namely megapools. As soon as for ratified, we continue to break components down, in delivery order and key milestones. And with Smart Node version 2, the devs have been working hard to bring that forward and feature parity with version 1. Version 2 release now has all Houston features and continues to be beta tested. Started the prototype feature freezing version 1 will start the transition to version 2. And then there's a node manager website. So like I said, we've been working on the new user experience for node operators. The node manager website will be separate to the staking website, be a consolidated place for your managing your node. The new node manager website is very close to launch. Look at that. And like I said, then you have there so far. Let's actually go to look at his comment about the node manager website. So Angus says that I should have put in more detail. The node manager website consolidates the node features that we have on the website, but ties them together in a better way. So ask the need to ask the question. Look, so basically, I think what's going to happen is the website will be have different sections. Stake.rocketpool.net will have things ETH most likely, and then there'll probably be a website called like node.rocketpool.net that will have stake control address and maybe initialize voting and all that kind of stuff. I'm not sure exactly what they'll be doing, but they'll be other stuff. So that's pretty cool. And let's then go back to see this other post by Langas about roadmap prioritization. So this, I guess, is the next period, which will be October 2024 to October 2025. Langas says, as per 37 protocol development, the core protocol team will facilitate a prioritization discussion with the Rocket community with the following RPIP's imminent ratification. There's significant work ahead for us. So with RPIP 9, there's bond curves, mega pools, execution there, triggerable exits, UARS, force delegate upgrade, deposit mechanics, and protocol upgrade guardrails. And then there's RPIP 7, 58, and 61. And Angus says these RPIPs are prioritization, and prioritization generally organized around particular themes to help guide what we want to achieve and edit gaps. organize them around the following themes. I would love to hear the community opinion on what themes are appropriate. Things like tokenomics, RETH demand, node operator efficiency, decentralization, protocol safety, and emerging research. And then Langus goes on, as we deliver RPIPs, it's likely that new priority will emerge. But to kick off the discussion, here some questions. Please feel free to go in the direction. This is, are there themes missing? Is there a better way to organize the information? Are there areas we should focus on in the future? Are there strength areas we can double down on? Are there weaknesses we can strengthen? Are there threats we should be prepared for? So here are the different roadmap areas. You can see the diagram on the screen, and the RPIPs are basically put into those areas and how they're going to work with that. So this was really nice information from Angus, and got one reply, but it's from Funky Meister. But I'll let you go and yourselves get that information. Okay, so one of the things that Langas mentioned was like this idea of Saturn 0, which is starting ETH-only validators a lot earlier than previously thought, and potentially coming in the next 2 months. And we had some controversy with this because people felt like that it was moving fast, or it was removing value from GL, or it was going to impact a service like NodeSet. So Nick from NodeSet, a couple of weeks ago, came into the Discord and said that basically this is going to negatively NodeSet, it would kill NodeSet before we started. And I think because of that, but because of discussions that were still ongoing, there were certain tweaks and adjustments that were made to the idea, and then to make them more palatable for NodeSet and make it so NodeSet will thrive. And here, people Halululo, his message has been deleted because he got banned, so that sucks. But Halululo and I were talking about, Halululo mentioned that Nick hadn't replied yet, and I was like, oh yeah, I was going to ask if you'd replied yet or not, thinking that I might have missed it. But Nick just went and had a baby, so I guess he's been a little bit busy. But yeah, he said that he'll try to respond. So anyway, Nick then kind of started replying right then, and he said basically that every point that you add to the base commission, the less scary this whole thing is for us. So the idea is that the higher the base commission is, the easier NodeSet, and I think that's kind of the sum of the issue is that he said that he was worried about the global collateralization state and MEV underperformance resulting in underpayment. I haven't seen it in math. I know you did some napkin math. So the idea basically was that if the smoothing pool doesn't do enough ETH in a period, then we won't have ETH required to pay out the ETH commission to the ETH-only validators as they have more RPL, and it was to do with that payment going out. But I think the idea is not possible. But yeah, Nick here basically shared some ideas, shared some thoughts, and eventually was saying that we think it's going to be fine for NodeSet. Of course, we saw that NodeSet audit last week, so they must have figured it was going to work out for them to put the cost in to get a confirmation audit process. There were a couple of little tidbits that came out of the discussion from Nick. So the whole of NodeSet's base is going to work as one node, and then they're going to have sub nodes within that. So there'll be a constellation of sub nodes, which is actually really interesting. So I replied a little while later saying that this all makes me so happy that we're getting more and more consensus on these ideas. And the great thing is that the community is really coming together now, and it looks like validators will be live on Rocket Pool potentially within the next month, which is really exciting. There's all the governance stuff to go yet. I think Nosh was working on RPIP before the RPIP. The people in the discussion are still trying to figure out what values we should start with in mission and how RPL reward is going to work. Those are collateralized right now, but I think those are the last couple of little nice cost. And once that is done, we will be in a position where the RPIP Joshua, I think, is writing will go on the forum, sentiment check, we'll go to vote. That whole process will take about a month. and then we will to get it through the hotfix that the team are working on, like that I talked about. That will change some of the parameters easier. The rest of it chain tree boards. So this looks like it's happening, but of course there's still some. Okay, next we had this update from Samus, who's been playing around with some numbers and trying to figure out what rewards might look like. He says, I played around with Lange's original map. So this is rewards for RPL under Saturn 1 and Saturn 2, but also with the Saturn 0, basically, only validators. So Samus says, I played around with Lange's original map, RPL carrying capacity sheet, but I changed it so the output is yield and the input is RPL ratio. It says instead of looking at ratio as the output based on everyone will buy RPL and have APY X. So I think the short-term RPL ratio is more likely to act input. Market will have reverse preference effectively price. Is I think that would lead to some RPL APY yield output. Does this make sense? Intuitively, we can't guarantee a RPL ETH ratio, but RPL's APY is the output. You take RPL ETH ratio, stake RPL output. This is also under tab 0 for dynamic commission with a small table comparing ETH only commission versus RPL commission and how that new returns versus solo and RPL APY. So let's dig into see what Samus has found. So here you can see the parameters have been set up. So this is for Saturn 1 and 2. This is the universal adjustable revenue split forecast. We initially start with a node commission of 5%, with a voter commission 9%. The surplus will be set to 0. There'll be no buying and burning happening, but it'll all be going to people who stake RPL validators. The total commission will be 40%. The yield APY will be 3.5% using that parameter, with the ETH ratio will be 0.004333 set at the time we made this, and ratio performance basically set. So he says this is what it can look like, where you'll get 5%, then this is for Saturn 0, sorry. So his numbers, let's actually have a look at the Saturn 0 numbers that he set. So Samus thinks that we should set ETH only commission as 10%, then add 4% more of commission depending on how much RPL you have, up to 10% get off the cliff. And he said the initial parameter was set to 7% and 7%, which would have led to an RPL 2.5%, 2.45%, and the solo, the ETH only APY as 1.21 times solo staking, which I think Samus says looks a bit low. And then his idea is 10%, 4%. So the RPL APY would be 1.4%, and the ETH rewards will be 1.3 times solo staking, so 30% higher. And then he says for Saturn 1, it's going to look like 1.35 times higher with Saturn. So these are the kind of numbers that I think are going to get decided on in 2 days. Now with Saturn, this is actually really interesting because it shows that today we are at 800,000 ETH total staked, and we are at around 11,000 RPL staked. So with Saturn 1, with the current ratio 4.4333, you'd be getting around 4.6% on that as an APY. However, if we double the TVL, that will be going to 9.25%, and 3 times the yield, that's the TVL, will be going up to 13% APY on your RPL. So that is actually really interesting. Of course, the more growth we get, the better those numbers look, and the less RPL we have staked, the better those numbers look as well. So, for example, 3 times TVL, but people unstake down to 2 million RPL instead of 11 million like we have now, then you'd be getting 75% APY. So what Samus is showing here is that even if we get all the RPL that is staked, that all the RPL that exists, if all of it stakes, but we go our TVL increases to 3 times, about 10%, less than 10% of the market, about 8% of the market share, your RPL rewards will be getting 7.2% TY, which is absolutely amazing. The scary part is, if our TVL goes down and our RPL stake goes up, then those RPL rewards looking very good. What's really interesting is, a lot of other protocols have talked about P-switch recently, and all of them, like, it looks like the numbers are going to be coming through like 1 or 2%, and even with that, RPL holding RPL will be quite favorable, because if the TPL went down half, 400,000 ETH overall staked, and we went up to max every RPL stake, that would be 1.2% staking reward. It's actually interesting. And then with Saturn 2, those numbers actually look even better. So with the numbers the way they are today, 800,000 ETH and 11 million RPL, you'll be getting 5% reward on your RPL staked, which is amazing. However, if 3 times the RPL, then that goes up to percent. I think this is where the revenue split really starts to make a difference, and it will be changing how the revenue splits work, because there's no point in giving 15% RPL holders if we can make the protocol more likely to grow by giving to our ETH holders and making those rewards better. So if every RPL was staked and we 2 times the TVL, then you'd be getting about 5.2% on your RPL, and if you 3 times, getting 7%, if we 4 times, getting 10%, and so on. So the more RPL that is staked, the more ETH that is staked with the rocket pool, the better these numbers look. Even if you max out, the RPL stake and every single RPL is staked, so that would actually be really amazing. But the main thing is TVL, and this is where Saturn 0 comes in, right? The idea is that by ETH validated now, you can use those TVL numbers, get a whole lot of growth happening much sooner, and then once Saturn 1 and then Saturn 2 comes along, once you start doing the revenue splits to RPL holders, that's when those rewards are going to start looking really good. So if we can, for example, get up to a million ETH stake rocket pool, then when Saturn 1 turns on, you'll be getting 6% rewards. Whereas we'd need to get up to 1.6 million ETH stake to get 10%, which is comparable to what RPL is now. However, this will be ETH terms. I really hope that I've understood this series of sheets properly. I think that I have, but if I made any mistakes, Osama watches, so please correct me and I'll fix it. So, okay, something really interesting happened in the Discord, and Lula was the person to notice this. He says it's midnight UTC. This is the first day since the protocol launched without a single message in support. So for those of you who know, for node operators, if you have any issues, you go to support to get help with your problems. And what's happened is that we are going longer and longer stretches without anyone asking for help. Now, that might be because people, the quality of node operation is better. It might be that people just don't need help that much. But what's happened is, we're going longer and longer periods now without people asking for help. So on the 21st, for example, there was literally 4 messages in there, and then here Lulu said you ended the drought. We had more than 24 hours of no message. So that just tells you that right now people seem to be on top of their node operation, and they're it's going quite well. So congratulations to everyone in support. We've reached the end of support. No, we haven't. I think what's really interesting here is that hopefully we'll be getting a whole lot more people asking for help and support, because we will be getting those validators, hopefully getting a lot of node operators online. But all looks really exciting. Okay, talking about things that were exciting, this is something that's not exciting. So I asked Val, how is Rocket PL holding up compared to other staking services and products that are out there. and he shared this June analytics screenshot with me. So I'm going to spend a couple of minutes talking you all through what Val shared here. So on the top left over here, we have Rocket Pool. It's just putting off the screen. See, here we have Rocket Pool. So Rocket Pool TVL peaked at around 850,000, I want to say, and that was a year ago. And since then, it's been on a steady downtrend, and we are currently, according to above 700,000, something like that. So we peaked, and now we've kind of had a bit of retracement. Lido here kind of peaked a year ago as well, had a bit of a retracement, but now has kind of gone back up to its all-time highs. So Lido's actually held on really strongly. Here we have Stader, and Stader has kind of had a double peak pattern and then lost some of its market share. However, because their market share was much smaller, they've actually lost more as a percentage than Rocket Pool have. So they peaked at around 150,000, and now it's gone back down to like 125,000. So they've lost 20% of the market share, I think it looks like. Swell have actually had a worse retracement. So they've gone from a peak of around 330,000, I want to say, down to around 230,000. So they've lost around 33% of their stake. Frax here have actually had quite a drastic retracement as well. Here with Frax here, you can see that it peaked at around 250,000, and then now it's down to like 150,000. So it's definitely taken a big hit. Okay, and then finally we can have a look here at wait, hold on. Yeah, by Renzo, and Renzo here peaked at around 1 million TVL, and then went all the way down to around 700,000. So they've taken a big hit as well. Now with Swell and Renzo, oh, actually, sorry, I missed EtherFi here. So EtherFi is actually one of those that have held up really well. So they peaked at around 1.6 million, and they've actually held on quite well there. So in opposition to Swell and Renzo, those have fallen down quite a lot. We've had Frax and Stakewise. They've actually, Stakewise are kind of similar to Rocket Pool's trajectory, but just with a smaller TVL. And some of them are kind of flat with stuff like Stader, and then EtherFi and Lido, of course, have been doing the best. Now, one of them that's missing here is Puffer, so I'm not sure how that's doing, but the rest of them have definitely taken a hit. I think some of them just more than others. Now, if we go back to the Discord, you'll see here that Val was talking about this as well. So he put them into different categories, and he said that I'd say Lido and EtherFi have held up better. Stader, Stakewise are roughly similar, but the others are oof, as in they've lost their TVL. And if you want to have a look at the full June Analytics dashboard, there's a link that Val shares there. You can follow that by going to Val's comment in Discord and following it from there. But thank you, Val, for sharing that information. One of the things that's happened is the benefactor finished with their RPL. So the benefactor had 1,000 RPL that they were distributing, and that has now finished. And then as a kind of parting gift, the benefactor said, who wants a benefactor POAP? If you send your 0x address, I'll send you some dust. You'll get on the POAP list, and then you can mint the POAP. And benefactor said, if I sent you RPL already, then you don't need to send your address. I already have your address, and that'll already be on the list. So here's what the POAP looks like. This looks like a Sleety designed POAP. I'm fairly sure it was designed by Sleety. So that's really cool. And yeah, this is really nice. So yeah, the RPL's finished, so I don't think you're going to be getting any RPL, but you can actually put your name down or your address down for the POAP. If you want to get the POAP, then just send the benefactor a message saying that you'd like the POAP with your address, and then you can get the POAP for round 4. Okay, moving on to some staking news now. We've got news from NodeSet here, and NodeSet actually are topping the charts on the APY for Stakewise. So of course, we want NodeSet to be a huge success. Nick and Wanda are really great guys at the Rocket Pool community. They're building a really cool product here with Gravitar. And of course, the main thing that they're building is Constellation that's going to be built on top of Rocket Pool. But if you want to have a look at how the Stata Vault is doing, there is this link here. And you can go to the Stakewise website and see how their vaults are doing. But this one's actually doing really well. So if you search by APY, you'll see that actually they're down to second now. So SSV operator 491 has gone just a little bit ahead. But if you look at their effectiveness, they're actually doing really well. Like they're quite strong with effectiveness as well. So it's not quite the top. Actually, they're not anywhere near the top, but at 98% effectiveness, that's actually really strong. And then you can see the others that are below them. There are a bunch of them, but in effectiveness, they're kind of in the middle. But I guess they got like a big block or two, which is why their APY is one of the best. And in terms of their TVL, they haven't really grown that much. They're at 740 ETH, around that number. I thought maybe by now it would have broken up to get closer to a higher position, but sadly that hasn't happened for them so far. But they're doing quite well, and they're continuing to grow. And the main thing that we care about is Constellation, and that is undergoing its first audit as of Monday. So I'm sure the team's really busy with all that. Got some more staking news here. So we've got this from Everstake saying that we've crossed a new milestone with 34 million ETH staked on Ethereum mainnet. And this is from the Beacon chain as their source. If you have a look at the validator website, which I like to have a look at to see what the state is looking like, we can see that we have 1,063,000 active validators. And over here it says the staked ETH is 33.9 million. So I'm not sure who's right or wrong, but it looks like we're very close to that 34 million target. We really need more of the stake to be coming to Rocket Pool, and I hope that we see that happening soon. But it looks like the stake number is like still slowly and up to the right. The rate at which new stake is coming online has slowed down significantly, but it's still going up. So that's actually really exciting. But we need Rocket Pool to be taking some of the stake. I don't think much of this belongs to Rocket Pool, so that is definitely something that we fix. And then in the Rocket Pool community, we were talking about Lido CSM testnet, and they released some information about that in their community call. So here on YouTube, you can watch their community call number 20 if you're interested in that. But Lido pulled out the key information. So here we had they've got 2,400 node operators with 3,600 active validators. So it's been 50 days since launch, and they have 7,200 bonded ST-ETH. This is on testnet, of course, and 40 users are using DAppNode, and they've had more than 100 uses of the CSM testnet hashtag on Twitter. And then they've got they've been added to lists. So they've gone onto the rated list, Stakecat list, the Gnosis Solo staker list, Obol holders, and Lido OAT holders with Galaxy and good performance from the CSM testnet. So here Lido says it's that's something else. Sneaky Ninja Guy here says that those are some crazy CSM figures. Like, where did those node operators come from? Lido says the number of node operators is really high, and Sneaky Ninja Guy says it might just be fewer people running more nodes to make their numbers look good. And someone here said that that their numbers were a lot less going into the last few weeks, but the node operator number has grown massively. I'm not sure. I think it might have been Hululo tracking that, but I've lost that post now, so maybe I dreamed it. But it looks like that number was boosted up recently. I don't know if that's because some bigger operators have broken out their validators across different nodes, or if that's just working out now. But you can watch this video and get information from there as well. And if you're curious to find out what's happening with Lido CSM, they're getting closer and closer to testnet. Now, it's really funny because, kind of sad funny, not happy, haha funny, that when it comes to software development, the idea is always, whatever your timeline is, you have to add another big chunk of time to that, called Hofstadter's law. However long you think development is going to take, is going to take longer than that. Even if you count for it taking longer than that, and you build that into your timeline, it's still going to take longer than that. So like Hofstadter's law kind of explains it that way. Now, what's funny is Lido CSM, for the last year, has been saying that they're targeting a Q4 2024 release, and it looks like they're on track for it. So yeah, we can't catch a break. But hey, Rocket Pool's doing a bunch of cool things in that time, so hopefully we'll be more competitive when CSM launches. Moving on to some Ethereum news now. So the key piece of Ethereum news from the last couple of days is Vitalik. So a whole lot of people have been telling Vitalik recently that, hey, we need you bull posting on Ethereum, on Twitter. We need you to come back to Twitter, leave Farcaster. We need you hyping up Ethereum. We need you to be promoting Ethereum and projects on Ethereum, infrastructure on Ethereum. So Vitalik listened. He said, I've been told that I need to do less philosophizing and do more Ethereum bull posting. Hence, here in the Ethereum bull post, courtesy of Stable Diffusion 3, in painting and GIMP. So here we have a picture of a bull, and the bull is wearing a sign around its neck, and the sign says Ethereum is good, and it's got 2 Ethereum logos on there. So this is Vitalik bull posting, and people responded really positive to this bull posting, so much so that we had 23,000 likes, 5,300 retweets of this bull posting. So good job with your bull posting, Vitalik. Vitalik also thought it was kind of funny. He says, I had an article that was 11,700 words in length, blog post, on the 3 engagement metrics, and then that whole post has been taken over in engagement metrics within 3 minutes. So more likes, more retweets, more comments across all key metrics. The Ethereum is good post did better than this. It actually became a mini meme across the community, with a whole lot of people just saying Ethereum is good, like the ETH influencers, Ethereum influencers out there, just having the message Ethereum is good, which is really good. Vitalik then, of course, didn't stop with that, so he came out and he was hyping up L2s. So he says Ethereum has gotten stronger. Under 1 cent transaction fees on layer 2, there's 2 EVMs layer 2s that are now at stage 1. That's Optimism and Arbitrum. Cross L2 wallet UX improvement has improved a lot. No more manually switching networks, though there's still a long way to go. Much more powerful and mature ZK tooling makes life easier for active builders. Starting to see second generation privacy tools such as 0x, Bowio, identity reputation credential systems much more powerful and starting to actually be used more and more. Progress on Starks leads to more clear long-term security and decentralization story. Much more clarity on the account abstraction roadmap. Much more clarity on block construction endgame. It seems to be down to FOCIL and APS versus multi-proposer. And stake and decentralization is stable. Seeing a comparison charts below, the proof of stake is more centralized work line has been proven completely false. Vitalik ends his post by saying the fundamentals for Ethereum are actually crazy strong right now, which is actually really cool. And that in itself has become like a memeable catchphrase line that a whole bunch of influencers are putting out there. And Vitalik is really, hopefully, this lasts, where Vitalik is not saying anything wrong, not being disingenuous, not like manipulating information or being any kind of, sending out misinformation or lies, just talking about real Ethereum news, real Ethereum developments, and getting those out there. It's absolutely wonderful to see. So great job, Vitalik. Really loving to see this. And this has also had really good engagement as well. And this was actually just a reply to other tweets. So the fact that this was just a reply and it's getting so much traction was awesome to see. Now, there's more memeability that's coming out here. So Stephen here says, turns out the sign has a second layer, and this is Arbitrum is good on there with Arbitrum there. And this person, of course, is the co-founder of Off-Chain Labs, who are building Arbitrum. Then Vitalik replied by saying, the sign also has a really important third layer, the applications. So I think that's going to be the next thing that people have been asking Vitalik to start highlighting, is like talk about apps on Ethereum, talk about how great they are, what cool stuff they're doing. So maybe in the next few days, we might see some posts from Vitalik talking about apps. Now, Vitalik doesn't normally like to talk about apps because I think he gets the idea that it's kind of picking winners and stuff, because, so many people follow Vitalik. I think it's like 5 million people. 5.4 million followers on Twitter. So that's really influential, and Vitalik can pick winners in a sense by doing that or promoting specific apps. But I'm sure Vitalik will choose the right way to go about promoting apps and promoting the Ethereum ecosystem. And Sano sums it up really nicely here. He says, I'm loving Vitalik's new arc of highlighting all the amazing things happening in the Ethereum ecosystem. He has by far the most amount of reach of anyone involved in Ethereum, and putting that reach to good use benefits us all. Based Vitalik. So people then just reply by saying based Vitalik, which is awesome to see as always. Let's have a look at some ETF numbers since it's been a few days since we've done that. So here we have information about Ethereum flows, and sadly it's been a bad week. So from August 15th through the 21st, we've had 5 days in a row of outflows, and that is not looking good. Total outflows since the ETF started, there have been 2.5 billion outflows from Grayscale, and there have been around 2 billion in inflows in the others. So there's a net outflow of 458 million right now, which is kind of disappointing. I was really hoping that we'd be reaching positive numbers now or soon, but that hasn't sadly happened yet. Now, one interesting target that's been hit is Grayscale's ETF Ether has hit $1 billion in inflows, which at the looks of it is the 7th most successful ETF of this year, which is actually really exciting. Grayscale, of course, is still holding on to a lot of ETH. I think it's around 6.5 billion, somewhere around there. They're still holding on to, so that's a considerable amount of ETH. They started off with over 10 billion, so the Grayscale ETH trust is still getting some good flows as well. So overall, the flows have been around 2 billion positive, 2.5 billion negative, leading to 450 million negative. Now, I'm hoping that big number becomes positive. Hopefully, with some attention coming onto alts, then ETH can start to outperform. Now, just to compare, if you have a look at BTC ETFs, in the last week, they've been positive every day. So, BTC is still getting those flows. ETH isn't getting those flows, sadly, but we really need ETH to up. Hopefully, that will happen soon. Okay, I've talked about Taiko on Rocket Fuel before, so I thought I'd give them a little bit of an update of what's happening with Taiko. For those of you who don't know, Taiko is a based rollup, which means that it has a relationship with Ethereum Layer 1, the mainnet, in a way that other rollups don't. Like the people who propose on Layer 1, the node operators actually verify the proofs for Taiko will be doing that. I think that's how it works. I'm not sure of the full technicalities. I really should learn about that. But here, Grow the Pie highlighted them saying it happened. Taiko was profitable yesterday. Taiko has been trending towards daily profit for a while now, and this marks a significant milestone. What happens is, Taiko, the way that's based, the way that it works is they have to basically have a blob every 12 seconds. Every block has to have a Taiko blob, and for a while that was costing them quite a lot. But now they actually have become profitable for the first time, which is really cool. And here, Ericsson says one of the hardest challenges that comes with base sequencing is efficiency. After a few months into mainnet, we finally turned profitable thanks to optimizations and user growth. It's starting to look like base sequence is a feasible path for rollup. So this is really cool because I think base rollups are going to be a really nice technology because they'll allow composability with layer 1 in a way that other rollups won't. Okay, here from Ignis, we're talking about DeFi. But Ignis normally talks about DeFi, but here it says that people have been bearish on ETH. It's easy because it's underperformed Sol and BTC, and bearish sentiment is currently dominating the feed. However, there's a catalyst to get excited about, and this is the Pectra upgrade. The idea is that Pectra upgrade will be coming in Q1 of 2025, and here Ignis is talking about that, saying that Pectra upgrade is in this upgrade expected to roll out in Q1 of 2025. It merges the Prague execution layer and Electra consensus layer upgrades. Unlike previous upgrades, Pectra seems to get no FOMO at all. And Ignis is saying, I understand why. This is because the Ethereum has had 3 upgrades in a few years. We transitioned to stake. We enabled ETH burn through 1559 in London upgrade, and reducing gas fees by introducing data blobs, and that was in the Shanghai and the Dencun upgrade. Is Pectra has a few cool upgrades up the sleeve. So we get abstraction, which is perhaps the most exciting, but that's EIP 702. And then benefits will be batching transactions, combining multiple transactions into one. For efficiency, you can sponsor another account to cover transaction fees if a user lacks ETH, and privilege management, create subkeys with limited permissions for specific tasks, and it reduces the gap between EOAs and smart contracts. And then Vitalik wrote about this as well. On staking front, there's 7251, which is the max EB increase from 32 ETH to 2048. And then the benefits of that will be reducing server costs, maintenance, and by running fewer validators, and smaller validators benefit from compounding rewards, and you'll be able to stake 40 ETH at once instead of waiting for 64 ETH to validators. And then we have EIP 7594. This is introducing data availability. Of course, one that's not mentioned here is 7002, which is execution layer triggered exit, which is really important for protocols like Rocket Pool to be able to get smaller bonds from users because we can punish MEV theft much more easily. And then here there's 11 EIPs more as well. So if you're interested in this, definitely go and give it a read. But Pectra, I think the hype starts now, and we're already starting to build those narratives that we're going to be focusing on. And the main one it seems like the community is going to rally around the account abstraction stuff, because that's going to improve the user experience so much. Okay, the 2077 Collective has been putting out some really cool materials for the last few weeks, so I thought that I'd give them a highlight with their post here about a writing competition they're setting up called Exploring the Ether, and they've got ideas of, the topic is about making onboarding onto Ethereum smoother, and they want to hear your ideas, and there's $1,200 in prizes. So there's a link here where you can submit your entry, and here they're saying write an article sharing your vision, the ultimate onboarding experience for Ethereum newbies, and then post your article, and then you can get eligible for prizes. And the audience is for Web 2 audience curious about Web 3. You got to inspire them to get onto Ethereum. Style, keep it fun, creative, and relatable. And then the evaluation criteria will be judged for originality, personal insight, and creativity. And with the AI usage, they said keep it real. Over reliance on AI takes away from your personal touch and could hurt your chances. So this is your chance to win prizes. The first prize is $500, second prize is $400, third prize is $300, and submission deadline is September 2nd. Winners will be announced on September 14th. I'm really looking forward to reading those winners. I'm sure they're going to get some really good submissions, but you can also get a tutorial on how to write good stuff. So that's the first thing from 2077. Next, we have like this post. These are the kind of things that they're putting out right now, where they've got Ethereum this is about the ETH ETFs, and they've got like different numbers that they're sharing about what it's looking like, what the tickers are for the tokens, and how they're performing. And the total ETF market cap for Ethereum is $7 billion, and so on. And this is showing that the ETH is still the biggest one, but ETH from BlackRock is growing really fast. So these are the kind of things they're putting out. Definitely keep a look out for more coming from 2077. And then here we have Emmanuel Osika writing about the great stuff that's happening. So he says that we're building out research platform that Ethereum deserves. We're getting high quality content, bridging gap between Ethereum research development and the community. There's no paywalls because we want to educate and inform as many people as possible. And articles are tackling hard topics that few people want to write about. And I guess the way they're doing that is promoting prizes. So for example, here they've got an article about EIP 7251, the max effective balance increase. So they've also got articles about data availability, Merkle trees, and the EIPs, well, like 765, which is general purpose execution requests, and 7623, which is call data costs, 6110, supply validated deposit chain, and more. So Emmanuel says these are some of the articles starting 2077 research, aka Ethereum 2077. We've got some of the smartest people here, and all share a common desire to learn about Ethereum at a deep level and share their learnings with others. Their revolution must be disseminated. So get the word out, spread these articles, spread the good word about the work that 2077 are doing, and give them a boost wherever you can. So great job, team. I'll definitely keep showcasing some of their work on Rocket Fuel. Okay, talking about apps and how we need, more attention to becoming on the app chain, app side of things for Ethereum. One of the apps that is getting the most attention recently is Aave. Aave has got a great marketing campaign going on right now. People like Mark Zeller and others are saying just use Aave. They're pointing out shortcomings with Aave clones or Aave competitors, where there's hacks, where there's all sorts of problems with those services, or even if they're their rewards are not as good as Aave, they're just saying just use Aave. So that's actually like a really popular branding technique right now. Also, there's talk of them switching on a fee switch. So there's a lot of attention on Aave right now, and that's one of the blue chip protocols on Ethereum. They're making money right now, so great stuff for them. And now they're growing across other chains as well. So here, ZKsync are saying that crypto's largest liquidity protocol, Aave, is now live on ZK Era, ZKsync's first ZK chain. Aave version 3 accelerates DeFi utility and composability on Era and opens the doors for new institutional use cases. Check out the availability markets at aave.com. And then there's more here as well with Aave. So this is really cool, like great stuff for Aave, but hopefully other apps will start doing these kind of things. They'll focus on their users and getting the most amount of value to their users as they can, whether that's through great rewards on their networks, or whether that's through just great security and accessibility of different layer 2. Okay, there's a new marketing campaign coming out of Base as well, and that is having a base name. So here Jesse says, if you're based, tweet this with a picture of your base name. Not fully based yet, register yours at base.org.names. Now, I've talked about Base a whole lot on Rocket Fuel. I actually like using Base, but I want to show you how easy it is to use Base right now. So this is the Base names website, right? So I'm going to search for Whack Whack Attack because that's my handle. Whack Whack Attack. So whackwackattack.base.eth is available. So I'm going to click on that, and wait, I'm going to click on that. See, sorry, this is my fault, not their fault. Okay, so I'm going to click on that, and now it says connect wallet. I can claim it for 1 year for 26 cents. So I'm actually going to claim it for 10 years because why not? So I'm going to connect my wallet, and let's see how quickly this happens. Okay, so I'm connecting my MetaMask wallet. Let's see, it's opening right now, and I'm connected, confirming, it's connecting to Base. So now I'm registering name, and it's going to cost me $2.61 in fees, but it's also going to cost me less than 1 cent in transaction costs, and it's registering, it's done. This is how amazing it is to use an L2 right now. The whole process takes seconds, like it's phenomenal. Now, for those of you who are watching and still haven't played around with L2s, guys, you're missing out on amazing usability. Oh, actually claimed the wrong name without K. I did it without K. Whack Whack Attack without K. Okay, well that's how easy it is. I can just go and do another one, right? That's how it works. But okay, that's kind of embarrassing. But I was trying to go speed over function, but that's okay. But what I'm trying to say to you guys is, it's so easy to use chains right now on layer 2. This is absolutely amazing. It's truly wonderful to use Ethereum like this. It's so easy that you don't even think about it. And it literally cost me pennies to do this. So Ethereum is just working so well on layer 2s. What we really need now is get those layer 2s to stage 2 on L2B, and then we'll be amazing. But until then, go and play with layer 2s. Don't put all your money onto a layer 2 maybe just yet, but definitely go and play around with layer 2s. There's some really cool stuff happening on them. Okay, talking about layer 2s right here, Sagar has a tweet, and he says, It's insane how easy it is to get an L2 up and running. It takes a couple of clicks, a couple of minutes, have a full-fledged rollup ready via Conduit XYZ. It says it's less effort to launch a layer 2 now than it is to launch a meme coin. So here he's got like a little video showing how it works. So you just put in the details, what stack do you want to use, OP stack, Arbitrum, like whichever one you want to use. You just change the variables, you select what you want to do. Do you want to do a mainnet, testnet, and then just press continue, and then you just choose additional settings and press continue and it's done. And that literally the process, once you get started, takes 25 seconds. Now, that is literally how easy it is to get an L2 spun up. The infrastructure work is phenomenal. And Segar here then follows up with that tweet. And he says, many people like to talk about how easy it is to spin up an L2, which it is really easy to do. And he says, however, to build a successful chain, you need to incubate an ecosystem, set up critical infrastructure, build a strong community, create a meaningful culture, work closely with top developers. He says that's where the real work happens. He says probably 20 other things I could list here, but my point is the bare bones chain itself is very easy to stand up, but a chain is much more than its underlying tech. So I think there's a really good point that Segar makes here, right? Is that the infrastructure stuff is getting easier and easier to happen, and the tooling around it, and like the ability to do it is like so easy now. But all the things that happen to make a chain successful, those are the ones that you really need to pay attention to, and those are the ones that where the community as a whole is working on. And sadly, these things, all of them together, are what is going to make it that we'll get 3 to 5, maybe 10 different chains that are dominant chains, like super chains kind of thing. And then after that, there'll be a long tail of sub chains or layer 3s or other kinds of stuff that won't get that much usage. But this is where the real work is happening, and I think we're going to see how that develops in the next 12 months going into a bull run. Okay, so I talked about Devcon in my last episode a couple of days ago, and that's happening in November, but the hype around it is starting now. The names of the people who are going to be giving talks are starting to come out. I just selected this one just to show you. Austin Griffith is going to be talking about how to get started building an Ethereum ecosystem. I think if you're a new builder, this is something that's going to be really interesting for you. But the Devcon website here is highlighting new speakers constantly, and Vitalik will be there, and there's going to be a whole lot of other people as well. So if you are interested in going, there's still waves of tickets allowed. They've even got information about visas and what you need to get there, what kind of people have visa exemption and visa on arrival. So a whole lot of countries don't need visa to go. That's mostly European Union countries and a whole bunch of other countries as well, which is really cool. And then they're definitely hyping their speakers and hyping the different events. Like here we've got Kevin Owocki speaking, and Shane Copland and a whole bunch of other people. So definitely keep an eye on Devcon if you're going. If you're not going yet, it still might not be too late to make that decision. We've got some other news here now. So this is some political news. So one of the things that people were waiting for was the Democratic Party to talk about how they're going to be using crypto in their, as the next cycle, if they win this election, the presidency, what crypto stuff they're going to be focusing on. Well, they released the official Democratic Party platform for 2024 election, and this is a 92-page document, and in this there is zero mention of crypto. So the crypto community was really disappointed, saying that the Harris-Walz campaign was supposed to talk about crypto, or have some kind of position on crypto to be favorable to rival that of the Republicans, but there's no mention of it in here. So people were quite disappointed, and there was kind of a little bit of a backlash against them for this. However, yesterday, Bitcoin Magazine and others have started to talk about how there is word coming out of the Harris campaign now that crypto will be a positive. So here, Bitcoin Magazine says that just in, Kamala Harris supports policies to expand the crypto industry, according to Bloomberg. So Bloomberg saying that Harris supports policies to expand crypto industry, and Aide says cryptocurrency industry is expanding its political influence. Harris team signals aims to grow industry with safeguards. Now, people here are still kind of critical and saying, nope, this is lies, I don't believe it, they're grasping for straws, and a lot of other negative things. The idea being, of course, that Harris is the vice president right now. If she really wanted to, if the Democrats really wanted to, they could start enacting these policies now instead of waiting until the next term. But this here for Yar says, have been pleased to take part in a number of discussions with the Harris team. Very much appreciate their constructive approach, their focus on advancing innovation, jobs, and consumer protections in the US. The dialogue has been an important first step, and Brian Nelson's statement is an encouraging second step in the right direction. So Brian Nelson here is one of the senior aides to the Harris campaign, saying she's going to support policies that ensure that emerging technologies and that sort of industry can continue to grow. So we're still looking for firm policies, we're still looking for firm messaging, but maybe this is a step in the right direction. And people who are, Democrat leaning, it might be that they're clutching at straws, but I think they're slightly hopeful because of statements like this. Of course, people who are more Republican leaning are saying that this is all performative and it's trash. I don't believe any of it, but I'll let you all make up your own mind. And finally, we're going to end today's episode with news out of Solana ecosystem. So here the block reporting that the SEC's talks with ETF issues over concerns of Solana being security preceded the CBOE to remove the 19.4Bs for Solana. So the Solana ETFs are currently dead, as far as I can tell, and that is because of the SEC's concerns about Solana security. So with Ethereum, of course, those concerns are laid to rest. The ETF was approved as a security. The Ethereum token ETH is a security. Sorry, is not a security. It's a commodity. The ETF was approved as a commodity, but the Solana, there's still those questions about Solana. So there's still some questions about staked ETH, whether Ethereum being staked makes it a security or not. But those are, I guess, we're going to see in the coming months. But it looks like the Solana ETF is not happening. And some of the people here said that this is nonsense in the Trump presidency. Some more Solana FUD people comment on Twitter. But on that note, I am going to end this episode. I'm really sorry for missing the last couple of episodes in the last couple of days. I've just been kind of overwhelmed with personal stuff because of the summer vacation coming to an end, school starting again. But hopefully I'll get an episode out tomorrow on Friday, and from next week, I think my time should be easier to manage. Should be getting episodes. So thank you all for watching, listening, and being part of the community. I hope you enjoyed that longer of an episode with so much amazing news. But an hour long as well. But yeah, I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye.